All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to bring to you my Bitcoin and Bitcoin miner update, but I also want to bring to you a broader update on the market and take a little bit of a step back because today was a brutally tough day. So, for those of you who are new to the channel, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And everybody, please smash the like button. Even though today was a tough day, we would appreciate it. It helps out the channel a lot. So, let's talk about what happened today. Today seemed to be an event. So I'm still trying to put it in perspective in my mind as to whether or not this was a one-day event or if this was a shift in the market. And it's very difficult to know that with just one day's worth of data. So we're going to find out the answer to that in the coming days. And in the meantime, I'm just trying to brace myself. I actually made no trades today at all. And when we get to the Bitcoin chart, I will show you why that is. So I first just want to start by showing you, this is the front page of Yahoo. Stocks slide in violent U-turn. NASDAQ drops 5%. Dow sheds 1,060 points. So these are big, big numbers. This is very rare, these types of numbers. Particularly a 5% move in the NASDAQ is very uncommon. We've had some big swings this year already. We did already have a 4% swing in the NASDAQ earlier in the year, but 5% is another level. And you can see it was all the indexes. The S&P was down 3.5%. The Dow was down 3%. NASDAQ down 4.99%. And the Russell 2000 was down 4.04%. So that is straight across the board. So this was a bad day for equities in addition to being a very bad day for cryptocurrency. My point being is that it's hard to isolate this and determine Bitcoin's path forward from here because this was not a Bitcoin event today. This was just an overall general massive sell-off of the market. So with that as an overview, let's take a look at the miner big board. Okay, you'll see right now, and it's after the market closed, Bitcoin's down almost 8% right now in the last 24 hours. Ethereum is down 6.4%. So tough day for the cryptocurrencies. And then if you look at the Bitcoin miners, just a very, very bad day. Every single one is red. It's not even close. A lot of these are big red numbers. Bitfarms was down 11.5%. Cleanspark was down 10.5%. Marathon was down 10.5%. Riot was down almost 12% on the day. And it goes on and on. The best ones on the whole board were down about 3% on the day. Most of the major Bitcoin mining stocks were down anywhere from 7 to 12% today. And actually, Wolf was down 14%. So I'll let you look at the board for a minute, but that's kind of an overview. So if you had a bad day, as you probably already know, pretty much everybody had a bad day. I want to show you one more thing after this. Wherever I looked today, I looked for an industry that did well. Extra large cap stocks were crushed today. Blue chip stocks were crushed. Tech stocks were crushed. You can see the EV sector was crushed and the Bitcoin miners were crushed. So not that that makes anybody feel any better, but there was really very little place to hide. I couldn't find any place. You know, if you wanted to get outside of everything and go into precious metals, silver and gold were a little bit sideways today, and that was about the best you could get. Okay, so let's look at the Bitcoin chart itself and see what happened today. You'll see up here, this is Bitcoin on the 15-minute time scale. This red candle right here was 9 o'clock this morning. So you can see from 9 o'clock this morning, we had been going sideways for quite some time. And then all of a sudden, bam, the market opened and it was just down, down, down in a straight line. So from 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock, we got all the way down to a low of 36,509. And we were hovering around the 39,600 point. So that was over a $3,000 crash in just maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours this morning in Bitcoin. And the pressure didn't let up. From there, it was not as drastic a downturn, but you can see we still headed down the rest of the day and we had one more big push down. Ultimately, in this 315 candle, we got to a low of 35,568. So that's $4,000 down on the day today from top to bottom for Bitcoin. So obviously, that's why you're looking at all those extremely red Bitcoin miner numbers. So if we measure from the top to the bottom, when we hit our low this afternoon, we were down a full 10% here in one day. It's more like 8% right now. We're recovering a little bit, but that's a massive, massive pullback for one day. So that is a brutal day. More importantly, some very strong lines of support did not hold up today, and they have been holding strong for a long time. So you can see we were fighting this line of support here at around 39,700. We were a little bit under it, but we seem to be hanging on to that line. And then this downward spiral took us right through our line of support at 37,400. That line of support has lasted for months. And when I zoom out, you'll see that has been a very strong line of support. So unfortunately, what we need to do is look at the next line of support below that. So I'm going to zoom out in a second. I'll just mention we have had a little bit of green candles over the last couple of hours, but given the fact that we were down 10%, I don't know if this is a trend back upwards or if Bitcoin is just taking a breather for a minute. It was oversold. I want to show you one more thing. This is the RSI on the 15-minute time frame for Bitcoin. I have never seen this before. This got down to 4. So 30 is considered oversold. 20 is a disaster. Now, on the 15-minute time frame, sometimes you will get exaggerated results, but I've never seen it under 10. And this was under 5. So this was incredibly oversold on the short-term time frame. So obviously we've recovered way back from then. So we've gone from 4 to 40 in the last several hours. So a little bit of normalization there. I don't know if this was a cascading series of liquidations. I'm not sure what happened on this. And again, this was not a Bitcoin event, really. The entire market did the same thing. So let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, you'll see here, basically, there's been a downward trend. We hit 48,000-ish back at the end of March. So for all of April, and now here the first week in May, we have just been pretty much heading down in a straight line. We've had a few run-ups in the middle, and we were just in the middle of one, and it looked like we were just about to break to the upside. We're down about $11,000 or $12,000 since the end of March. Bitcoin is showing extremely neutral signs, and it's extremely hard to figure out which direction it's going to head in. So as we talk about the technical analysis, I'll just repeat myself and let you know that the technical analysis that we do here is for short-term trends on Bitcoin, in the next days and weeks. I do still remain, even after today, I still remain bullish on Bitcoin in the big picture. On longer time frames, I do not think the story on Bitcoin has changed. I don't think the fundamentals on Bitcoin have changed, but the technical analysis clearly changed today. So we do need to take a look at some lower lines of support to see where we might be going in the short term. So this first line is at 34,300. We hit that back on February 24th. That was one of 2 lows that we've had in the year 2022. So if I go back just a little further, you'll see that on January 24th, we hit $33,000. So really, we got down to $32,933. I'm calling it 33,000. That would be our next line of support right after our 34,300. And once the first one's in play, in my mind, the second one is in play as well. Now, this line has held for a much longer time. However, if it doesn't hold, then this is the $29,000 low. That was the low for the year in 2021. So if we go back and test this, we will have hit in 2022 the low on the year for 2021. So that would be a dramatic retest. Again, I am not expecting this, although I will tell you a lot of people are expecting this. So we have about 1 day to prove or disprove this, but I think it's unlikely that it's going to turn back around. This was a pretty strong move to the downside. However, stranger things have happened. Okay, so this is zoomed out to the 1 day time frame. This is my Plan Z. I've been calling this Plan Z for zoom out, and I will tell you, I'm going to have to call it today. We are officially outside of Plan Z. One of our subscribers had mentioned an alternate Plan Z, and I made that line, and that line held up all the way through yesterday. We've now broken out of alternate Plan Z to the downside. We've also broken past our long-term line of support, so you can see this is a bearish picture all the way around. And again, that does not mean that we are crashing and I am a long-term bear on Bitcoin, but I think it's important to acknowledge that right now, these are several bearish signs, and we should be mindful that there are a few lines of support below this at 34,000 and 33,000 that we probably should be paying attention to. So you can see yesterday we candle wicked almost back up to Plan Z. So unfortunately, once we got rejected, you could see the downward pressure took over, the bears took over, and we just took out all of our lines of support. So it did not look like a capitulation day, and I'll tell you a few of the reasons why I think that. Although all of the Bitcoin miners were down drastically, they did did not really take out their lows of the year. A lot of them got back very near their low or at their low, but they did not crash below that. So that would have been one sign. Another sign would have been a very high volume day, but you'll see that was not the case. It is a little bit higher volume, but it's not one of these days where we saw capitulation on February 24th and a couple of very high volume days in late January. So while this is above average, it's still within the realm of a normal volume day. So for that reason, I just don't feel like this was a one-day turnaround type of event. Now, I hope I'm wrong. It's possible that it was, and we may start heading back up tomorrow. If you saw yesterday's video, we talked about the fact that the RSI was at 49. Our philosophy on this channel is good things happen over 50. So we were on the brink. We had not been this close to 50 in over a month. So last thing I'll note is you can see really I can go all the way back to February 1st of this year. So that's February, March, April. That's over 3 months where we really have not been below 34 on the RSI. So we've had a lot of ups and downs in that period of time. We've had a few bull runs where we got over 50 and had some nice runs up, but we really haven't been under 34 in a long time. So, we may bounce off of 34. That seems to be what's going on so far in 2022. We may just as likely go test some oversold, potentially at 30 or under 30. Last thing I want to look at is the MACD, and I want to look at two things. So we have been waiting for over a month, particularly the last 2 weeks. We've been talking about how we keep getting near a bullish crossover, but it's not happening. So, we had about 4 fake outs. Well, yesterday, if I zoom in, yesterday's update and bull cross turns out to be a fake out. So you can see yesterday we said we are on the brink of verifying a bull run. We just needed 3 things to happen, and they were all almost about to happen. Well, as it turns out, we got rejected at this line. We got rejected at the 50 RSI. So unfortunately, everything has flipped back the other way. So again, I'll just leave you with the thought that this is some short-term stuff, and I know there's a lot of people, I can tell from the comments on my YouTube channel as well as in my Discord, that there's a lot of people extremely discouraged. This is the most discouraged I've seen people in many, many months. So one of the things is, that typically tends to be a time when we're reaching a bottom. That doesn't mean that today was the bottom. We may very well go test some of those other lines of support, but I am hopeful that we will test those, bounce off of them. This seems like more of just a delay to me. Call me an optimist, but that's where I'm at with Bitcoin. So that's all I got for you on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners and the whole market in general. So I hope everybody has a better day tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, please remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel.